my scar, just like Sub-Zero is in MK1. Why do I say it's me? Well, let's find out. So, the reason I think that Kuai is the Sub-Zero is for a number of reasons. So first, let's look at the appearance. Okay, so here I am in MK11. Here I am in MKX. And here I am now. Now, I know the eyebrows are different, right? There are some differences here, for sure. But what you need to note is that when you look at each of these characters in MK1, that kind of is the trend. The eyebrows are getting a little bit thinned out, and they're getting straightened a little bit more instead of being curved up. They're looking more realistic at this point. That's the case with Katana, Melina, and pretty much all of the other characters. So we can't look at like the eyebrows and say, oh, well, his eyebrows were a lot thicker or anything like that. They kind of have the same man buns too. They look very similar to the Scorpion and Sub-Zero we know, except they look a lot younger, and they do look a bit different. I'm not gonna lie. But that's probably due to the improvements across the engine, all across the board. So when we look at their outfits though, some people have pointed out that there's a Lin Kuei symbol on Scorpions as well as on mine. But the images aren't clear enough to know for sure. We also know that the origin of the timeline is that can be the case. Like, they were founded by the same person that jumped across the Lin Kuei over to Shirai Ryu and back. The guy's name at the time was Takeda. So maybe it's possible that is Takeda, but there are a number of reasons to think it's Kuai. And also a number of reasons to think it's not Bi-Han. It would make sense for it to be Bi-Han, but one reason it wouldn't is because they might want to copy the movie. They might want to follow and be consistent with that. They're getting a lot of new fans that way, and it wouldn't be all that smart to do something majorly different. So what I think they're doing is I think they have Bi-Han going evil again, going off on the sidelines, while I work with Hanzo on something, who knows what, trying to save the world probably, teaming up again. And that's why we see the T, guys. The T is a reference to MKX in our relationship. Do we really think that Ed Boon would be that much of a troll to show a Scorpion and Sub-Zero for them to be the ancestors? I mean, Raiden is in his non-god form, and we are seeing Kung Lao, but it's probably not the great Kung Lao. It's probably just Kung Lao before the first Mortal Kombat tournament. And so that is going to have some differences to it too, because of Fire God Liu Kang and how he's changed the timeline. But there are a lot of reasons to think it's Kuai beyond that. They have, of course, this relationship where we team up together in MK11, and how special would that be if another Scorpion and Sub-Zero also teamed up? It would kind of take away from ours a little bit, wouldn't it? Bi-Han doesn't have gear on his arms. I know I don't have any right now, so it's not a good example. But typically I do. I have gear on my arms, and there is gear on my arms in this one. And it is kind of an ode to the original costume, so it doesn't necessarily mean they're in the same clan, just that they're working together. And it could also be that because of this choose-your-own-adventure style, that there is all sorts of ways of them interacting together, whether it be negative or positive. In the original timeline, I also got my scar in MK2, like before, right before MK2. So if this is right before MK1 through MK1, well, of course, I might not have my scar yet, guys. And so it's gonna happen eventually. Plus, it's like, why would Scorpion do this anyway? He's gonna team up with another blue guy? He hates blue. He doesn't like blue that much to do it twice? Are you kidding me? And since the Fire God Liu Kang changed time, it's perfectly reasonable to believe it changed Bi-Han, Hanzo, and all the other characters as well. Besides, would they really be called Scorpion and Sub-Zero if they were just ancestors of Scorpion and Sub-Zero? I mean, wouldn't that be confusing to some people? Like, who's the real Scorpion, who's the real Sub-Zero? It's already confusing enough. I was Tundra before, and now I'm Sub-Zero taking the mantle from my brother. I don't think we need another layer of that. They're likely just jumping across time, you know, going from earlier on to a little bit later on, and maybe it's just time skipping kind of happening. But how could you possibly have Johnny Cage if it's not going to be set at least at some point to the original timeline, to the MK1 era? And if it is, why would we not believe that Kuai could be there too. I'm pretty sure that's me. I'm pretty confident. There's just all the signs point to that. And all the signs point to them doing the same thing as the movie, kind of having him on the side. I know we don't see Kuai in the first movie, and it doesn't happen until the second one. But the reality is that Bi-Han stopped becoming Sub-Zero before he was even killed. The moment he turned evil, guys, he was no longer Sub-Zero. He was Bi-Han at that point. He didn't have to be killed for that. It's just, come on. Like, my brother is always more serious too, so it's really hard to believe that he would even team up with Scorpion like that in the first place. Like, that's our relationship. It's not gonna just extend to any old blue and yellow guy. So I hope you guys understand that this is why it's almost guaranteed to be Kuai. Do you agree or disagree? Let me know down below in the comments. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the little bell thing. We appreciate your support. We appreciate it so much that right now I am going to, in the style of Chinese Ninja Warrior, read the donors' names on YouTube. So if you would like to donate and get added to this list, I might sing your name out at some point in time. But here we go. Antonio Bays, Young Toon Link, a cryptid does stuff, Frozen Flame, Shadows, Tarantulas, Kelly Ale, Sinister RP, Assassin.